I'm Clara, and my story is one of betrayal and rebirth. My husband, Henrik, abandoned me, weak from a stroke, at a crumbling manor in rural France, all on his mother's orders. Left with a careless caretaker, I felt buried alive, until an unexpected ally sparked my fight to reclaim my life. I turned that neglected estate into a thriving haven, finding strength in a supportive village. The real test came when Henrik returned, demanding my inheritance. Will my newfound resilience and community stand strong against his claims? Share your thoughts in the comments, like, and subscribe for more stories of triumph. The mist clung to the Provençal hills, wrapping the old stone manor in a damp shroud. I sat in Henrik's Peugeot, hands trembling, not from cold but from betrayal sinking deep. The stroke had slowed me, weakened my steps, but my mind was sharp, cutting through the fog of my fate. Henrik killed the engine, jaw tight, avoiding my eyes. "This is it," he muttered. The manor, my great-aunt's legacy, loomed, shutters warped, ivy choking the walls. His mother, Ingrid, had orchestrated this. Clara needs peace to heal. Peace meant exile. Henrik unfolded a wheelchair, his movements cold. "You'll be fine," he said, as if convincing himself. "Margot will handle things." Margot, the caretaker, slouched on the porch, cigarette dangling, her nod indifferent. Her stare slid past me, like I was already gone. My chest burned with rage, trapped in a frail body. Henrik lifted me into the chair, my pride stinging, and wheeled me inside. The manor reeked of dust and rot, its stone walls a prison. "I'll visit soon," he said, boots scuffing as he fled. The Peugeot's roar faded, leaving me alone. I gripped the armrests, pulse pounding. This wasn't a sanctuary. It was a tomb meant to erase me. But as silence settled, a fire sparked. I wasn't ready to vanish. My fingers tightened, nails biting skin. I'd trusted Henrik for years, believed his quiet promises. Now that trust was ash, but something else stirred, defiance. I vowed to fight, to reclaim my life. The manor's walls seemed to watch, waiting. I'd show them and him that I was far from finished, my heart beating fierce in stillness. 5 years ago, Paris was my world, my sketches dreaming of a design studio. Henrik, a quiet accountant, felt safe, my anchor. Our wedding glowed in Ingrid's lion garden, roses under candlelight. She hugged me, whispering, "Your family." I believed her, blind to the cracks forming. Ingrid's words soon sharpened. "You work too hard, Clara. You'll burn out before children." When I landed a big client, her smile froze, and Henrik echoed her. "Slow down, love, for us." I swallowed the hurt, my dreams fading. Then came the letter, my great-aunt's inheritance, a fortune and this manor. Henrik's eyes lit up, and I mistook it for pride. Ingrid's visits grew frequent, her hugs tight, her questions sharp about the money. Doubt crept in. One rainy day, I saw him with Elise in Montmartre, her laugh cutting, their kiss shattering my heart. I hired an investigator, and photos confirmed it. Henrik and Elise, plotting over dinners, park walks, hotel rooms. His words haunted me. "Once Clara's money comes through, we're set. She won't last with her health." Betrayal twisted like a knife. I stayed silent, my trust broken but resolve growing. The stroke hit at my desk, vision blurring, limbs failing. I woke in a hospital, Henrik's hand cold, Ingrid's tears fake. "We'll care for you," he said. But their whispers, home care, quiet place, revealed their plan. The manor wasn't for healing. It was for me to disappear. As Henrik drove me to Provence, I sat quiet, masking a vow. I'd outlast their scheme. My heart, though weak, burned with purpose, ready to fight for the life they thought they'd stolen. The manor was a skeleton of its past. Creaking oak floors, wallpaper curling like dead leaves, a kitchen holding a single rusted pot and a chipped ceramic mug. Margot, the so-called caretaker, drifted in and out, leaving stale bread and cigarette smoke, her muttered excuses about other jobs fading with her footsteps. That first night, I lay sleepless, the silence heavy, broken only by a faucet's relentless drip. The manor felt like a crypt, its stone walls cold, closing in. But as dawn broke, painting the Provençal hills with golden light, something shifted inside me. Anger surged, hot and alive, pushing out despair. My legs, stronger than I'd let Henrik believe, trembled as I stood, gripping the bed frame. I'd hidden my recovery, sensing his betrayal, playing frail to see how far he'd go. He'd shown me abandonment. Now alone, I dialed Sophie, my art school friend, my voice steady with resolve. He left me here to die, I said. Sophie's reply was a spark. I'm coming. Clara, hold on. Her van rattled up the drive that evening, tires crunching gravel. Sophie stormed in, eyes blazing with fury. They thought they could bury you here, she said, wrapping me in a fierce hug. We set to work, sweeping dust from corners, prying open stuck windows to let in the lavender-scented air. Over cheap wine, we laughed, the manor's gloom retreating under our defiance. Sophie stayed a week, helping me map out repairs, patching cracked plaster, scrubbing mold from tiles, dragging warped boards to the yard. This is yours now, she said, handing me a hammer, its weight solid in my hand. I gripped it, feeling my life shift, a new foundation forming beneath me. By the week's end, we banished the worst of the decay. Sunlight piercing the manor's shadows, illuminating cobwebs like fragile art. Sophie left, promising to return, leaving me with a plan. Transform this prison into a home. Standing in the doorway, I surveyed the cracked stone walls, the overgrown garden beyond, its wildness a mirror of my own. This wasn't just a house. It was a battlefield, each creak a challenge. I took a shaky step, then another, my legs holding firm. Each swing of the hammer would be my refusal to be erased. The manor's silence turned from oppressive to expectant, waiting for my next move. My heart pounded, not with fear, but with purpose, ready to rebuild not just these walls, but the woman I was becoming. The manor perched on the edge of a Provençal village, lavender fields stretching toward ancient stone walls. I began small, my body still relearning its strength, clearing tangled weeds, scrubbing grime from floors, my muscles aching but alive with purpose. One crisp morning, a knock startled me. A wiry man stood there, face creased by years under the sun. "Antoine," he said, a neighboring farmer. "Heard you're fixing this old place." He held out a crate of ripe tomatoes and a battered hoe, his smile warm, no strings attached. My pride stung, but I accepted, feeling a crack in the walls I'd built around my heart. Word spread like wildfire through the village's narrow lanes. Madame Du Bois, the baker, arrived with warm baguettes, her flour-dusted hands offering tips on plastering walls. Her laughter filled the manor, chasing away its ghosts. Julien, a young carpenter with steady hands, taught me to mend sagging shutters, his patience easing my clumsy efforts. Each act of kindness chipped at my wariness, rebuilding a faith I'd thought lost. Antoine returned often, his visits a quiet rhythm, hauling broken furniture, sharing stories of his vineyard and his late wife, lost to illness 3 years ago. "You rebuild one vine at a time," he said one evening, sitting on the porch, his hand brushing mine. His touch was warm, grounding, like the earth under my feet, and I didn't pull away. The village's embrace tightened. A seamstress named Marie brought curtains, their soft folds softening the manor's darkness. Children left wildflowers by the gate, their giggles echoing. I, once invisible, felt seen, not as a burden, but as Clara, a neighbor, a person. Antoine's stories of loss mirrored my own healing, his presence a steady light. One dusk, as crickets sang and the sky turned violet, he said, "You're bringing this place to life." My heart stirred, the manor's stone walls holding warmth. Madame Du Bois's bread, Julien's lessons, Antoine's quiet loyalty. They were my foundation, Each gesture a brick in the life I was rebuilding. The village wasn't just a backdrop. It was my strength, my belonging. I stood taller, hands calloused, heart open. The manor, once a prison, was becoming a home, its air no longer heavy with decay, but alive with possibility, whispering of a future I was ready to claim. I turned to the land, its wild tangle of weeds a challenge. I met with fire in my chest. Antoine guided me, teaching me to plant lavender, zucchini, and fragrant herbs, my hands learning the rhythm of soil and seed. The work was brutal. Blisters bloomed on my palms. My back ached from hauling dirt. But each tiny sprout was a victory, proof I was alive, not fading. I named my venture Jardin de Clara, a declaration of my rebirth etched in every furrow. Antoine helped build a greenhouse, our laughter ringing as we wrestled reclaimed beams into place, sweat mixing with the scent of pine. One starry night, as we rested, he looked at me, eyes soft. "You're not just surviving, Clara. You're thriving." Hope bloomed where fear once choked me, my heart swelling with possibility. At the village market, my small basket, glossy tomatoes, fragrant basil, sold out in hours, villagers crowding my stall. Monsieur Lefebvre, a bistro owner with a warm smile, requested weekly deliveries, slipping his card into my hand like a promise. My hands, once soft from city life, were calloused, my heart brimming with purpose. I expanded the garden, rows of peppers, thyme, and lettuce stretching across the once barren land. Antoine taught me to compost, to read the soil's secrets, his steady presence my anchor. One evening, under a sky ablaze with stars, he said, "This land's lucky to have you." I laughed, but his words took root, grounding me deeper. The manor transformed alongside me. Fresh white paint, mended shutters, air sweet with herbs, and the bread I'd learned to bake. Nightmares of Henrik faded, replaced by dreams of green life pushing through earth. Villagers greeted me by name, their smiles my belonging, my proof I was no longer a shadow. Jardin de Clara wasn't just a garden. It was my heart, beating strong, rooted in soil and sweat. I woke each dawn, muscle sore but alive, tending plants that mirrored my growth. Orders poured in from bistros across Provence, my stall a beacon of my new life. Antoine's steady smile, the village's warmth, held me firm. Kneeling in the dirt, I felt whole, not broken, but reborn, ready for whatever lay ahead, my hands smelling of earth and freedom. A year after Henrik abandoned me, his Peugeot rumbled up the drive, dust swirling like a bad omen. He stepped out, smile slick as oil, eyes scanning the thriving garden, the manor stone walls gleaming under fresh paint. "Clara, you've done wonders," he said, voice dripping with false warmth. "We need to discuss the inheritance." I stood, dirt smudged on my hands, my voice calm but ironclad. "You left me here to fade away. You don't get to say any more." Antoine emerged from the greenhouse, wiping his hands, his presence a quiet shield, eyes steady as stone. "She's not alone," he said, voice low but unyielding. Henrik's charm cracked, his gaze darting between us, calculating. "We were married, Clara. I'm entitled to a share," he pressed, stepping closer. I didn't flinch. "To nothing," I said, my words sharp as a blade. "You chose a lease. Plan a life with my money while I fought to stand again. You thought I'd die here." The lavender fields stood silent, witnesses to my truth, their purple swaying in the breeze. Antoine stepped beside me, his arm brushing mine, grounding me like the roots I planted. "You heard her." "Time to go," he said, his tone final. Henrik bristled, his smirk twisting into a sneer. "Enjoy your farmer boy, Clara. Good luck with your little project," he spat, gesturing at the garden. My stare held firm, unwavering. "You don't get to call me anything anymore. You chose her. Thought I was disposable. I chose me." Henrik's mouth opened, but no words came. The village's support, Madame du Bois's warm baguettes, Julien's steady hands on the shutters, Antoine's unwavering loyalty, had rebuilt me, brick by brick. He climbed into his car, muttering under his breath, and drove off, taillights fading into the dusk, a ghost of my past shrinking. I exhaled, hands trembling not with fear, but with release, a weight lifting from my chest. Antoine's hand found my shoulder, gentle but firm. "You okay?" he asked, his voice soft. I nodded, a smile breaking free. "Better. I'm free." The manor, once my prison, stood proud behind me, its walls alive with my triumph. The garden hummed with life, my life. Henrik was gone, a shadow dissolved. I'd faced him, not with hate, but with strength forged in soil, sweat, and the kindness of a village that saw me. The hills seemed to nod, their mist parting, as I stood tall, ready for my future. By spring, Jardin de Clara was the heart of my world, its lavender fields blooming vibrant, their scent mingling with the warm bread I baked in the manor's restored kitchen. Villagers gathered for workshops, their voices weaving through the air. Children planted seeds with muddy hands. Adults swapped recipes under ancient oak trees, their laughter a melody of belonging. My own laughter, once a stranger, rang free, unburdened by the past. Antoine was my constant, his hand steady as we expanded the garden into a small vineyard, rows of vines promising future harvests. One evening, on the manor's restored terrace, the stone warm under our feet, he looked at me, eyes soft in the fading light. "You've built something extraordinary, Clara," he said. My heart swelled, full of a truth I'd fought for. "I built a home," I replied, my voice steady. The manor gleamed, new shutters, polished oak floors, walls adorned with my sketches, each line a piece of my soul. I woke each dawn muscle strong from work, not weakness, tending plants that mirror my growth. At the village market, my stall overflowed with glossy tomatoes, fragrant herbs, and zucchini, orders flooding in from bistros across Provence. I hired Elise, a local girl with bright eyes, her wages funding her art studies, and my pride swelled. I was giving back, building more than just a garden. Antoine's visits grew tender, our evenings filled with shared meals, his stories of loss and love intertwining with mine. One night, under a starlit sky, he took my hand, his touch warm, patient. "You're my home, too," he said, and my chest tightened, not with fear, but with a love I dared not imagine. The community day sealed my transformation. Families filled the garden, music drifting, children chasing fireflies through lavender rows. Sophie, visiting from Paris, hugged me tight, her eyes shining. "Look what you built," she whispered. I gazed at the vibrant garden, the manor glowing under twilight. Antoine's soft smile meant for me alone. I wasn't just surviving. I was whole, not because I defeated Henrik, but because I'd chosen myself. Healing over hate, roots over running, love over fear. Standing at the garden's edge, lavender scent wrapping me like an embrace, I whispered, "This is my life, and it's beautiful." The stars above shone brighter, agreeing, as I held tight to the future I'd grown, rooted deep in the life I claimed.